I want to talk about you see that like the transition between work, having your normal job into like taking up your music career or
Mm-hmm.
whatever career full time. Because this is one of my favorite questions to like a lot of because I see a lot of people who basically who are between in that transition still, people who
Mm-hmm.
still have a 9 to 5 or whatever, but at the same time, they're trying to make the transition. Where
Mm-hmm.
you are with that, like, are you fully like in music, or are you
Mm-hmm.
trying to fully make that transition as well? And how are
Mm.
you finding that in general?
In an ideal world, I would be making and creating music, and that would be it. Like I'd just be making money from that.
Mm.
But unfortunately, it's not that easy.
Yeah,
So let's start from uni. Like I graduated from uni, I did musical theatre,
yeah.
and I was looking for an agent to get me work for kind of acting roles. Or my dream was to be on the West End and just be like a leading lady and performing. Because that's what everyone's goal is, really, like when they do musical theatre. And so I had an acting agent. I had a few like things that went wrong with like um, dodgy producers, and like just had run into a few walls basically with like feeling like couldn't really get anywhere because it was so competitive. I have 100 girls or thousands of girls trying to do the same thing as me, and like I hadn't really pushed out into doing my own music then. I'd written a few things, but I wasn't like driven
Okay.
to do my own music at that point, because I knew that I wanted to do musical theatre and I wanted to act and like just do all these like different theatrical roles.
Mm.
um and I kept being told like, oh, you might have to do like a few cruise ship contracts before you do like a London show, because you need to build up your credits and stuff on your CV. So I was just like in a place where I was like, oh, I don't really want to have to do these like cruise contracts, but if it
Mm.
means that it will like push me up a level and get me like in a place that I can get into the room for like auditioning for like the West End musicals, then okay, I'll do it. But yeah, so I'd moved back to London. I was auditioning for roles. I got an acting agent, and then this was end of 2019, and then
Mm.
2020 um was when COVID hit and all the theatres shut down anyway.
Fuck
So
COVID,
I was
man. That's
just
like a
like,
traumatic
for months, I'm trying
word.
to build this like career,
Mm.
trying to out of university, trying to get my first like professional contract and all this stuff performing.
Mm.
I was like, crap, like what am I gonna do now? At the time when COVID hit, I was also working at a music venue for money.
Mm.
Um, and it was a brand new music venue that had opened beginning of 2020. I did the job for 3 months. In
Yeah.
March, it closed. All music venues closed, and
Jeez.
I got furloughed. Luckily for like 3 or 4 months.
Oh, that's good.
In that time, I was like, what can I do? Like, I'm furloughed from my job. I have nothing to do. No one could do anything really during
Hmm.
COVID. So I took the time a bit to relax, but then I got really bored because I'm a person that needs to be busy.
Same
Like,
here.
I'm not fulfilled if I'm not busy. So I was just like, right, I know I need money. I need to like find a job because I'm still in my parents' place, and I kind
Mhm.
of like want to earn enough to save to move out. But also I want to go for my goals and like do what I'm passionate about. So
Full time, you get what I'm saying? Full time as
yeah,
well. Yeah.
yeah. So I then, when I had nothing to do, I invested in recorded equipment, and I started just working on my own music. And I was just like, right. And I also, at the time, I was thinking about kind of pushing forward with my own music anyway, on top of the theatre stuff, so as a side thing. And I started meeting up with producers. I didn't even know what a producer was when I started. I was literally like, I've got these songs, but I want them to be on the radio, but I don't think they sound good enough to be on the radio yet because they don't have like extra music. Like, I was
Mm.
just like, I need like things like drums and a beat, but I don't know where I'm going to get that from.
Yeah.
And I had to do a lot of research, and I started recording myself a lot of things, but I was like, I need someone to work with professionally, because
Yeah.
otherwise I'm just going to be an amateur if I don't reach out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Literally, before you knew about any producer, you literally recorded yourself. You did
Mm.
everything by yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
absolutely amazing, That's
Yeah.
proper. Because even when you said that, like for a second, my head spun. She didn't know what a producer was. Like that's actually
I
proper
didn't know
mad
what a
unique,
producer was, or what their role was, what
Yeah.
they did for an artist. And it wasn't until I met my first
Mm.
ever producer I collaborated with,
Yeah.
Rachel, that I learned like exactly what they are meant to do for you. And she was the first producer I work with, she's a female producer, and yeah, we produced like 3 singles, but it wasn't all in one go. Like, it was a long process because we worked remotely. Because
Okay.
she was originally in London, but then she had to move to like look after her family during COVID and stuff. So it took ages to like back and forth send each other mixes and
Yeah.
songs. But yeah, and then I still need money. Like, I needed a job, and I didn't know where to get a job during a pandemic. And then I was just looking online for ages, and then I started working full time at University College London, and I started working in the accommodation department. So I was basically looking after like the halls of residence for postgraduate students and stuff. So that was my full-time job.
Yeah.
And I've worked there ever since. Like, I've moved department now, work in psychology at UCL, but it's a well-paid job, and I can't complain. It's 9 to 5 hours. So in the evenings and weekends I get to focus on the music projects. I can work from home like
I
half
like
of
that
the
balance
week.
as well.
So it's a good balance. Like, it
Yeah.
means that I have a steady income. It means I can use some of that to invest in my music career, because music is expensive to make. When you work with different professionals, they have a fee. Like, they don't just do things for you for free. Like, unless you do a collaborative thing where you're both making money for it together.
Yeah.
Like, if it's just for your gain, like as an artist, I pay for people to produce for me, I pay for people to do the artwork for me, I pay for music videos. Like, it all costs. You have to have an investment. You have to save up to invest into your music career, and hopefully it will build up and build and build, and then you will kind of get that money back when you start making money off of it.
Can I ask you a quick question
yeah.
with what you just said? Yeah, like, you see these days, yeah. I think some people mislead people, yeah. And what I mean by that, yeah, I feel like a lot of successful people who they're doing good for themselves in many different industries. Like, when I watch different podcasts, yeah, like, a lot of people say, oh, these days it's easier than ever to be a music artist because all of these gadgets and whatever. But I feel like, to a certain degree, when I hear people like you talk here, that's misleading people, because it's like, music is still very expensive. You still need to pay, like you said, for production. You still need to pay for because when I was making music as well, I realized you need to, like, for the artwork. If you're making a body of work, you need to pay for that. Like, if you're recording like a body of work, 6 songs, 10 songs, whatever, all of those songs, all of those hours accumulate. You need to pay the producer
Yeah.
to shoot a music video, like location, all of these things. That there's a lot of things you still need to pay for. What I realized, and it just doesn't sit well with me. Like, when I hear certain people say nowadays, these kids, you can just go in your room and make a song and upload it. Like, you hear that and you think to yourself, what a bunch of shit, because it's like, it's not really as easy and as straightforward as that. You're going to say, because when I hear
It's
people
not,
like you, and
yeah.
I know there's people out there who want to do more, but it's like, things are expensive. And especially like the day we live in right now, where everybody want to show that they're doing better than they're doing. Like, a lot of people, yeah, man, music. So with you
Yeah.
saying that, I
There's
feel
a
like,
kind
yeah,
of
music
like
is very
a
expensive.
there's a pretty picture on the surface of it, and that
Literally.
is what you release. Like, my music video is the cherry on top. Like, you don't see behind the scenes of like how it took for me to organize that. I had to cast the music video with different types of people, and luckily I had a lot of like friends help me out with the music video that wanted to help me, because obviously I don't have an endless budget to pay like £100 per person to be in the video. Do you know what I mean?
It's
Like,
crazy.
although I'm my own business, like, I am
Yeah.
still just using the money I earn from work. Like, and also I'm trying to save. I'm still trying to move out my parents' house. Like, I'm still trying to do all this stuff.
Please tell them,
Like,
Shannon. I'm not gonna lie. This is real talk. Literally,
yeah,
yeah.
no,
It's
it's
proper.
not easy.
Mm.
And it's not even just those things we talked about, like producing
Yeah.
music video artwork. There's a mixing of the track, there's a mastering of the track. Someone who mixes not necessarily can master a track. They're two different skill sets, and I'm learning this as I go along.
Buying beats.
Buying beats, if that's what you do. I like to personally like have it kind of more natural when I play most of my instruments on my track, but then at the same time, like, you're not going to be on top form every day to have a good recording of that. Like, you have to like make the best of what is available to you. And yeah, although I think people say like it's easier now more than ever for anyone to just make music, okay, in principle it is, like, in terms of accessibility, like, you can put your music out anywhere now, but getting there is the hard bit. Like that's why they
Bagging up the
say,
product and putting the product together, bagging up
yeah,
everything
but
and
that's,
releasing
you're
it
very
out.
valuable if you can, the
Yeah.
more skills you can do yourself, like producing, if you
Mm.
self-produce, if you play all these instruments, you are like saving money.
Mm.
Like if you do it all yourself, then you're saving money, but at the same time you don't want to compromise quality. So if there's something, if there's someone that can do something better than you, it's probably worth reaching out, paying a bit more money so it can be like a better product overall.
Mm.
So like I could try and produce my own stuff, but I'm not a producer, so why would I do that? I could try and learn, but it's all about time. How much time do you have to learn a skill? Um, or do you, if you don't have the time, that's when you pay for it. You outsource it and pay for it to get done for you.
For
But
real,
it's a
man.
balance, really.
And for real, man. And this proper leads me to also asking you as well about
Mm.
in terms of like for you personally, do you consciously like you know, do you know what kind of basically fan base you want to build? Do you know what kind of
Mm.
audience that do you consciously, yeah, do you know like what kind of people you want to listen to your music? What kind of fan
Mm.
base do you want to, you know, do you want to gather? Or,
Mm.
you know, you're just doing your thing and you're just hoping like, you know, certain people would gravitate to your music and your voice
Mm.
and they'll fuck with you. Like, yeah, in terms of fan
Yeah.
base, like how you with that? Like,
Yeah, it's. I think it's a hard one to answer because it's not like I particularly. It's not like I have I think, well, with Dress to Please, my single, I know that that's directed to a kind of certain group of people that
yeah,
have gone through what I've gone through, and that's kind of like being catcalled in the streets, being talked at disrespectfully.
yeah.
So for a single like Dress to Please, I think I'm talking to people that have gone through the same things as me, I guess like young girls. But I could turn around and say, oh, actually, yeah, maybe that's my like fan base, like reaching out to like young girls and like that's who I want to put my music in front of. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that I'd be false in saying that for all of my music because my songs are about different things and they might mean different things to different people. So like one of my songs that isn't out yet is about not comparing yourself and staying in your own lane and trusting the process, but that might reach out to more sort of musician type of people or people that, I mean, anyone
Yeah,
really, like everyone's got
I
a
can relate to
thing.
that.
Exactly,
Like,
like
I'm here trying. Sorry to even cut you, darling.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm literally here, you know, trying to build. Not trying. I am slowly building it in my own
yeah,
way, in my own time, one step at a time. But at the same time, the key thing that you said there, like just staying in my own
don't
lane and
compare.
just, you know, just having faith that, you know, my time will come as well. But staying in
Mm.
my own lane, not comparing myself to anyone else, and just keep on chopping away.
So that
Yeah,
concept came to me as a musician and how I feel
yeah.
in my career. Like I need to stop comparing myself to the friend I went to college with that now, you know, is performing at the Brit Awards and is signed and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But trust my own process and my own journey and my own message and what I'm saying. So I'd say like I don't really have a certain type of fan base I'm applying this to, but it's whoever comes along for the journey and
I hear
relates
you.
to that.
And
I
I
think.
think, you know, I think it's beautiful that way. Once again, going back to your music, man, I feel like anyone from any different types of backgrounds,
Mm,
color or race or whatever, I feel like listening to the songs that I've listened to your music, I feel like when people, because there's a difference between listening to a song and just thinking, oh, that's all right, and proper taking in the words and proper taking in
mm,
what the person's saying. And I feel like
mm,
with your music, yeah, man, it's made for anyone who's literally just prepared to listen and actually catch, you get me, catch a vibe and really
mm,
not really hear everything you're singing about. And yeah,
mm.
man. And I,
Have you heard of Young Bloods?
yeah,
The
I did like a singing group.
so he's an
Oh, I
artist
did like
from Manchester,
no.
and I think he's a very good example of someone that is just speaks the truth,
Yeah.
like from what his experience is in his music. And a lot of it for him is about kind of being true to who you are. And like I think one of the songs is about him kind of being treated differently for being gay and different things like that,
Yeah.
or however he identified as. And it's very raw, like it's very you'd only have to listen to one of his songs to know like, oh okay, like that's what he's about.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's very like across the board, like speak the truth. Even the way he comes across, he shouts the truth like through the different genres of his songs and stuff. But yeah, like it's when something speaks to you, it's very bold. Like there's no
Yep.
hiding from it, and I think that's what I want to try and edge towards
Yeah.
with my music that's I'm currently writing.
I hear
as
you, man,
well.
and I can't wait to listen to some of that new music, man. I can't wait. Are you even because we got like literally like a good 15 minutes,
Hmm.
and I want us to try to get over these as many questions as we can,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So basically, even this one, like just out of the blue, yeah, like, do you have a specific person, yeah? If so, yeah,
Yeah.
who's that one main specific person that you're really, really trying to make proud, or who's that one specific person in your life that
Hmm.
you wanna make proud? Maybe more than one, but yeah, just in general.
Um,
If you got
do
any
you
at
know what?
all.
I think I subconsciously do have one specific person who actually isn't alive anymore that I
Oh, okay,
strive to. And it's my nat, it's my grandma,
okay.
because uh, she was supportive in every single thing I did. Like when I was a kid growing up, and think she was the kind of that like she'd be at every show.
Oh,
She'd be the loudest person in the audience, like Shannon, come on!
yeah.
Like she'd be, and like I
I
said,
love
I
that
think I
kind of
said earlier,
support.
like my nan's very, she was very patriotic,
Yeah,
but she wasn't. She's just very passionate,
passionate.
and that was brought out when she saw her grandchild perform, like in
Mm.
everything she did, and like yeah, she'd make sure she'd be the loudest person in the audience whenever I
She
did
was proud. She was
anything.
proud of
She was a
you.
proud grandma,
Yeah, oh,
and
big, and I'm sure even right now, I don't know, I feel
so
like I can just feel it. She's even listening
she's
to this conversation right now, smiling, man.
yeah, man. Like, so she
Yeah,
passed away when I was a teenager, and
rest
but
her soul,
I
man.
had, like
Bless
I
her
said,
soul.
like with everything
Mm.
I did with my training and stuff,
Yeah,
she was there for it all. Like, I always felt like I could carry on, like
yeah,
while she was there, and just do my best, and yeah. So I feel like she's kind of like sometimes I forget about it, but it's just sort of like something that will always be there. Like I'll always remember that.
yes.
Um, you always, and someone once told me something is that you don't remember what people do or what they say,
Mm.
but you remember how they make you
Make you
feel.
feel, yes.
You'll always remember that.
I love that saying. I
Yeah,
love that, by
and
the way. I
that always
love
sticks
that.
by me. Like I'll always remember
Yeah.
how she made me feel,
Mm.
and I'll always want to kind of say thanks and give back to that through everything I do. So I'd say that would be, yeah, that would be my answer, to kind of just make my nan proud as I go forward, because she
Yeah.
really believed in me from day one. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I'm sure
gonna
you're
keep that light
like,
shining.
with every step that you're taking, I'm sure you're making her proud,
Yeah,
man. Like every step
yeah.
that you're taking, I'm sure, like I said, she's looking down on you, saying, "Yes, Shan, you go,
Mm,
keep going." You get
mm,
me? Because, like I say,
yeah.
even like I said earlier, you see when you get on stage, literally, Shannon, I swear, some of the clips that I see on your social media,
Mm-hmm.
like you can see, like you just go off, like in many different environments with some of them with bands playing and all
Mm-hmm.
sorts, and you're just going away, and I can just like imagine her saying, "Yes, yes,
Yeah, I
that's
can
my
hear her.
granddaughter." You
Yeah.
get me? And literally, even just like a final question, even before I ask you the final question and before we go, yeah, I just want to say thank you, man. Thank you for
Thanks for
making
having
time.
me.
Honestly, man. Thank you. You're always welcome here. You're always
Mm,
welcome to come back. Hopefully, you can come back again and can keep building. But
mm,
honestly, man, like what I usually say to everybody, because I really mean it, like, thank you so much for your time, because the
mm-hmm,
most valuable thing you can give a person, I'm sure you've heard of that before, is, giving someone your time.
mm-hmm.
So honestly, Shan, thank you so much, man.
Thank
On
you.
a Sunday as well, on a Sunday morning. Thank you so much,
On
man.
this church service.
Absolutely. This church service has been absolutely amazing, man. It's been worth the time. You get me? And even with my last question, man, like I just want to ask, because besides everything that we do, I always like to check how people feel within
Yeah,
themselves. You get me? Like
yeah,
really keeping it real, how people feel within
yeah.
themselves. So it's like me asking you, like, the final question is like, like within yourself, yeah, like would you say you're really, really at peace, or you're trying to find that peace? But yeah, within yourself, would you say you're really, really at peace?
Mm.
Honestly.
Um, that's a really hard question.
Obviously, not to put you on the spot, darling, but
Yeah, no.
I really, really want to know.
I am, I'm sure, like many other people,
Mm-hmm.
working on myself every day. Like I said, I'm a perfectionist, so I'm always striving for that perfection.
Mm.
But I think there is a point where you need to find peace, and just appreciate and be grateful, and enjoy the journey that you're on. And I personally am loving the journey that I'm on. I think it's a really exciting to be an independent artist. I think it's exciting to be undiscovered because you never know what's around the corner. Um, like you, like like with what I just said.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I literally had no idea that I'd be asked to perform at Winter Wonderland last year.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that like you literally never know what's in store for you, so you just gotta kind of enjoy that and enjoy the
Absolutely.
process and keep going, keep working on yourself. Like nothing will ever be good enough until you say it's good enough, you know, like there's always something better, you know, always something to improve, but at the same time don't and I'm saying this to myself, don't burn yourself out.
Yeah. Nah, don't burn
Don't
yourself
burn
out.
yourself out
For
because
real,
then
man.
you won't be able to be good for anyone or anything,
Yeah,
and
man.
you won't be able to be good for yourself. So
Mm.
but yeah, um yeah, and it's important to check in with yourself, I think, like especially with like mental health and just checking that's okay,
Mm.
because especially like as an independent artist and doing everything yourself, like
Mm.
you are alone a lot of the time, and you're kind of alone evaluating your work, and whether you always question whether you're good enough,
Mm.
and question, you know, what's next, like what am I trying to do, what are my goals, like you just gotta keep believing in yourself
Mm.
whilst you're questioning yourself, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, just keep going, there's always tomorrow.
I love it, man. Absolutely, I love it, Shannon. And even the last thing I want to add on to that before we finish,
Mm-hmm.
literally, it's just gonna take a minute. Even like, don't forget, like your small wins. You get me, like your victories during the journey. Because I feel like
Mm,
sometimes, during our journey to get to wherever we want to get to,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a victim of that as well. So this is even me talking to myself and you and
Mm,
whoever's gonna be watching. It just to always celebrate the wins. You get me, even the
mm,
small wins. Because end of the day, this is like building your foundation. You get what I'm
mm,
saying? And I feel like before, like I said, I used to be a victim of that kind of person who I'm just so focused on getting there. But during the journey, during the process of that getting that,
yeah.
I forget of all of the small wins I got
Yeah,
that
and
made
it's
me
part
get
of
there.
your life as
Yeah,
well. Like
absolutely,
you don't
man.
want to
So,
like wish your life away. Like
mm-hmm,
this process is the life. Like
exactly, man.
it's what you're living like right now. So
Mm,
yeah, like the more moments that you can make happy moments, the better.
absolutely, man.
So otherwise
Because
you're gonna look back on your life and be like, oh, I waited all this time to get to this certain place, but all that time that was my life. Like I wish I was happier. I wish I did this, or I
exactly,
wish I.
and how many people that we hear, say that footballers,
Mm,
like people in different industries say, when I was actually doing that, I was taking it too serious. Now looking
mm,
back, it's like I
I
wish I
wish I
took
lived my
took it in
life.
even more.
Mm,
Yeah, you know, absolutely, Shan, man.
mm-hmm.
And with that said, honestly, we're gonna close this interview. We're gonna finish this interview. I just want to say once again, thank you, man. I'm sure the people are gonna love this conversation. Like I usually say my saying at the end of each interview, this has been a very, open interview,
Mm,
very insightful and
mm-hmm.
very educational in different ways.
Mm,
And honestly, it's been it's Reality Team TV, and this is Shannon. Let me even take it back. This is official
mm-hmm.
Shannon. You get
Uh-huh.
me? But yeah, guys, you know what to do, man. All of the information are gonna be, obviously in the bio. Go follow official Shannon on every platform and just show her some love. You get me? If there's any people out there want to collaborate, any managers, future managers that want to do some work, whatever, go hit her up in her DMs and talk to her and connect, because end of the day, this is what reality team TV is all about, just
Mm-hmm.
connecting with what like-minded people, literally.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, over and out. Peace.